All right. Good evening to everyone and morning to you if you are watching this in the morning, and good afternoon if you're watching it in the afternoon. I just want to take this time to thank you from my heart. I really appreciate you for taking the time out to join here live or click on this later. I really appreciate your support. Please, if you would, share this video, send it to someone tonight. We're going to begin something very special to all of us here. We've decided to go through the Proverbs, through the book of Proverbs. And shout out to my sister Robin, who gave me this idea. I'm very grateful for that. And I'm looking forward to all the blessings that are in store in traveling through this book. So, again, I just want to show my appreciation for you guys joining. And I pray that this is an ultimate blessing to you. But all right, all right. First question, first article of business tonight is what purpose? All right, no, who? I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Who was the author of the proverb? Who was the author of the proverb? This is Proverb 1 and 1 to get this answer. So it reads the proverb of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel. All right. So if you want to know who authored the book of Proverbs, it is none other than King Solomon himself. Now, Solomon, if you look this up in a concordant, it means peaceful. All right. It means peaceful. His name means shalom. Okay. And so if you know anything about King Solomon or Solomon, then you can see he lived a peaceful life. If you know about King David, if you read over there in Second Samuel, and if you read about him, then you understand that David was a man of war. He was a man of war, and he was a very wise man. And he's responsible for a lot of the Psalms that we read. But King David, even before he was king, of course, he was ordained. And of course, he couldn't take his rightful place until the death of King Saul. But he was ordained even before the death of King Saul. He was a very wise man. And so, as this man began to have children, he was raising them up in the admonition of Yahuwah. Okay? And as we know, David and King David to be a man of war, he wanted to build Elohim a temple. Remember? And Nathan told King David, he said, do whatever is in your heart to do. And King David was very happy. And when Nathan left, Yahuwah stopped him. He said, tell King David he cannot build me a house. He cannot build me a temple because he's a man of blood. And King David was a man of blood. He fought battles, even when he was a lad. Remember? He killed Goliath with the sling and the stones. Remember that? He was a man of war. But his son, however, because Nathan was instructed of Yahuwah, go tell King David that he cannot build me a house because he's a man of war. And Yahuwah, he wanted his house to be built by a peaceful individual, by a person that did not have blood on their hands, such as King David. So he instructed Nathan to tell King David that his son was going to be able to build the temple. And of course, we know that David began to make preparation for this as well. So Solomon, he wasn't a man of war. He wasn't a man of blood. He was a peaceful individual. And so this name means peace. All right. And so when we look at this, the proverb, he's the author of the proverb. Now, next question. For what purpose did King Solomon write the proverb? This is verse 2. Says to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment and equity, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. Okay, so now I'm going to take my time and I'm going to kind of walk through this for us here. Verse 2, Proverbs chapter 1. First of all, he says to know wisdom. Okay, to know wisdom. And wisdom is the type of word, you were in school and your teacher say, it's a word to use all the time. And she said, what does that mean? What does that mean? And you can't quite give her an answer. It's kind of like one of those things, you know what it means, but you don't know how to explain it, right? So a lot of people will say, well, wisdom means to be wise. That's exactly right. Okay, that's exactly right. But to be wise means to have a deeper power to comprehend. All right. So when we think about a person that has wisdom, which this book is to know wisdom. So this book is established to give you a deeper power of understanding. Okay. And it says intelligently alert. I'm just reading definitions here. Intelligently alert to understand what is obscure. And some of us know that as discernment. Okay. So this is what to be wise means. It first means to have a deeper power of comprehending. It means to have discernment. So that's to be intelligently alert to understand what is obscure. So there's a thing that a person will look at through a natural eye. But since you have wisdom or discernment, you have an ability to see what is obscure. And some people, they would accredit this to having an intuition. Some people would call it a spiritual premonition, whatever you want to call it. Okay, whatever form or version you want to pull up about it is wisdom. Okay, so discernment, but also a capacity for sound judgment. So when it comes down to judging things and what's wrong, what's right, okay? So he wrote this proverb or these proverbs that we can have wisdom, so that we can have a deeper power to comprehend, so that we can be intelligently alert to understand what is obscure and to have a capacity for sound judgment. Now, if we remember, and a lot of us probably have read this story before, you have King Solomon, newly anointed King Solomon, and there was two ladies that had two children, two young men born, men babies. And the one lady overlaid her baby. She slept on her baby and killed it, and exchanged her dead baby for the other lady's alive baby. So in the morning, the lady with this changed out dead baby knew that that wasn't her baby. So they was brought before King Solomon. And King Solomon said, bring me the baby that was alive. Bring me the baby. And when he said bring him the baby, he asked for a sword to cut the baby in half. And so the true mother said, no, no, she can have the baby. And Solomon knew who the mother was. One lady said, okay, she was fine with it because it wasn't her child. But see, to have this type of discernment, okay, this is why we have the book of Proverbs. We'll face all type of situations in life. We'll have to know the difference between what this person says, that person says, what is right. And I don't even know how to express how important understanding this book is, because all of us could use more in the capacity of wisdom, okay? And so as we go through, prayerfully and hopefully, our wisdom will grow. Our wisdom will increase. Our knowledge, being instructed, will increase. I pray that for each and every one of us. Okay, so to know wisdom and instruction. Instruction, first off, says discipline. Okay, that is control gained by the enforcing of obedience or order. So instructions, right, is dealing with being disciplined. So if we're giving out instruction, and this book is to teach us how to do this properly, both when we're going to inflict to ourselves and inflict to others. Control gained by the enforcing of obedience or order. Also, chastening. Okay, instruction is discipline and chastening. Chastening is to inflict punishment on. Okay, so this book is going to tell you how to inflict punishment, when to inflict punishment, why to inflict punishment, all contained in this book. Also, correction. So, instruction is discipline, chastising, and correction. Correction just simply means to make or set right. Okay, to make or to set right. So he says, and I'm going on with the verse, to perceive the words of understanding. We need to know how to properly interpret words of understanding. Okay, and this book is going to help us to do so. Verse 3, to receive the instructions of wisdom. This book is going to tell us how to receive wisdom when it comes across. Also, justice and judgment and equity. Why do we need this? Because not everybody is able to receive instructions. Not everybody is able to receive wisdom and justice. Everybody can't receive judgment and equity when it comes across. So this book is designated for our lives to help us to be able to receive these things. Verse 4, Proverbs 1, verse 4, to give subtlety to the simple. Now, if you remember in the garden and you had that snake, he was subtle. Okay? He was subtle. And he, because of the simplicity, okay, because of, in a way, it was a form of folly on Eve's part. And so it afforded her to be deceived, and a lot of us the same way, okay? So we want to have craftiness instead of foolishness. We want to have a higher intellect instead of being simple minded, okay? To the young man, knowledge and discretion, like we need this, okay? We need to know how to be appropriate in every manner. Listen, this book is so power packed with so many great things. And so, if you probably wonder, like, why should I read the book of Proverbs? Why should I read the book of Proverbs? Well, you can use any of this. We all can. Then the book of Proverbs is for you. It's a book for everybody. It doesn't matter if you feel like you're wise. It doesn't matter if you're one that, hey, I need more wisdom. It doesn't matter. It'll cover you whatever spectrum, whatever side of the spectrum that you're on. There's something in this book that you can grow by. All right. So next question: what does the wise man do to assure that his course is steered wisely? This is verse 5, Proverbs 1 and 5. A wise man will hear and will increase learning. See, he's looking to hear, in other words. He's looking to increase his learning. And a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel. He's seeking wise counsel. He's looking to cleave to the people that can provide wise counsel. See, when you're wise, you become more wise. Okay? You become more wise. Verse 6, to understand a proverb, a dark sentence, something that's spoken in the form of a similitude. Okay? And and the interpretation. So you will know the proverb and what it means, because if you look at some of the parables, for example, those are none of the proverbs. Consider proverb, dark saying that you have to know what they mean, and you have to know the spiritual application of what it's saying. And a lot of times we can't know the spiritual application because we don't know what he's saying. So when he says to understand proverb, he also said and the interpretation. Because it's easy to hear what's said and not fully know what's said, but it's a whole different monster to know the spiritual application. But this book, listen, he's saying that in this book, not only will you increase in your wisdom, but this book is going to show you that to be wise, you're going to attain to more wisdom. You're going to understand proverbs and their interpretation and the words of the wise and their dark sayings. Yes, listen, because this book is going to enhance, it's going to increase your senses in these areas. And as we are praying, as we go through this book, pray for the Holy Ghost to do just that. We don't want to go into this leaning to our own understanding or trying to depend on our own might and own power. Like this ain't up there at the high school, And if you say you're not even depending on yourself for that, you praying, right? But especially gonna pray when it comes to this word. So, all right. Next question. This is verse 7. What is the starting point and essence of knowledge. What is the starting point? So pretty much we're in the book of Proverbs, and we understand that this book has some great and powerful things in store. Okay, some great and powerful things in store. So if this is the starting point or at the essence of these things taking place in my life, like where do I start? Okay, so this verse says, verse 7, the fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of knowledge. So if I want these things to really be activated in my life, or in the lives of my family, if I really want these things to be activated, you know what? I'm going to have a reverence for the master, a reverence for the master. And I'm gonna tell you something. This is with any place in the Bible. If we read it and we don't have the proper respect level for God, we're not going to take it as serious as what we should. Even when we go to church and there's so many things that are taught to us, we don't take it serious. Why? Because we don't have any reverence. We don't have any fear for Yahuwah. You see, and so this is why we're able to do what we do, a lot of what we do without a conscience. Okay. And so what we have to do, and it's very simple. It's very simple. Oh, Thomas, he was even doubted. He was doubting the Messiah. And he just asked him, Father, help my unbelief. And sometimes it's just that simple. If we feel like we don't respect him the way that we should, we feel like we can't properly acknowledge him in our hearts the way that we should. See, we put too much emphasis on what we can do. And it's not about what we can do. It's about what he can do. And so if there's something that we're lacking, such as fearing him and reverencing him, that's something that we need to pray for him to give us and to establish in our lives. Because you see, we don't even have, and we think we do because we hold ourselves very intelligent, but we don't have the capacity. Like, we're so insufficient within ourselves, y'all. We are so insufficient, like so insufficient. And I know we put so much hope in ourselves because we do this and we do that. And congratulations too. I'm gonna give you credit for what you do. Okay, when you get out and you get out every day, you're tenacious, you make it happen. I just want to tell you, great job. I do. I really do. I really, really do. And I'm sure your family and friends and your job, your career appreciate you for that. And if they don't, I pray that you will get the recognition that you deserve. But when it comes to spiritual things, okay, we solely depend on him for that. And again, if you say, even when you go to work, you're praying. You're not leading to your own understanding. So right? But the beginning of knowledge, it starts with fear. We have to have the proper respect level. So back to what I was saying. Sometimes we just have to pray for that. Father, bless me in my heart to be able to properly acknowledge you. Bless me in my heart to respect and honor you the way that I should. Don't depend on yourself. Don't depend on yourself because and it could be established through reading the word, but it's something that the spirit have to apply to our lives. It's a divine influence. It's a grace that only the spirit can afford us to have. Okay. And so we have to pray for that. Father, bless me to have that reverence for you, that fear for you, that the knowledge that I need can be activated because to fear you is the beginning of knowledge. He said, but fools despise wisdom and instructions. So that there's only two sides to what he's saying here. Either I respect him and I have the knowledge, or I'm a fool and I despise the knowledge. Again, why do so many people, they go to church or they read the Bible, probably even, or hear it, but don't respect it? Because that's foolish. Foolish despise wisdom and instruction. Foolish people, we just want you to make us feel good if we're foolish. We just want we want some false gratification. We want some self justification. We want somebody to give us affirmations that we don't even deserve. And think about it. Most people that live around you right now. Most people in the world. We just want to think about it. You ask somebody, hey man, you know what? Does God love you? Do you love God? Are you pleasing to Him? Everybody, yeah. Yeah. like because we are self-justified, you know. And some people may keep it real with you, like, yeah, I can use a little help in that area. Okay. Listen, now when I hear that, I would say that's a person that's off to a good start. Because first we have to acknowledge where we are. We have to be honest with ourselves. Don't seek self-justification. Okay. Seek this word and seek him in prayer that he could change and rearrange us the way that he needs us to be. To fear him is the beginning of knowledge, but only fools gonna despise. What despise mean? Disesteem. They disesteem wisdom instruction. They make it less than what it actually is. It can't carry as much weight as it needs to with them. It just cannot. That's what fools do. So next question. Why should a child heed the instructions of their parents? Okay, so hello children. We was on y'all Monday. We right back to y'all hello. And I just want to take time out to say a special shout out to all the children and teenagers that take time out with their parents or individually come and listen to the message. I really appreciate you for that. I pray that you are learning and I pray that you are growing in the Messiah and keep on growing in the Messiah. I just want to give y'all a shout out. What's up, young people? So much love to you and respect. So, why should a child heed the instructions of their parents? This is Proverbs 1 and 8. My son, hear the instructions of your father, and forsake not the law of your mother, because they shall be an ornament of grace unto your head, and a chain about your neck. Listen, in other words, when you are obedient to your parents, when you heed their instruction, they're going to shine about you. Come on, y'all like to bling? Y'all don't say that no more. What y'all say? Drip? Y'all like the drip, right? Y'all like the chains and want to look all flossy? Listen, he said, your father's instruction when you go out your house, in other words, they're going to bring glory to your being. They're going to bring glory to your person. They're going to bring worth to your person. You know, you come out with one of these slick Rick chains on, somebody say, why that boy got that bread? Y'all don't say that no more? What y'all say? Skrilla? Moolah? Y'all gonna have to help me with that one for real. I don't know. I done lost track of the times. Come out with one of these slick, come on, looking like LL Cool J in 1988. Y'all don't know who that is? My bad. Well, I would say 2 Chain, but he too perverted. But if you come out with 2 Chains, guess what? And they look real good. Okay, you know what I'm talking about then. Look, he said, man, when you heed the instructions of your father and your mother, it's just like you shine just like that. You know why? Because somebody's going to look at you because of what your parents have instilled into you. Somebody's going to look at that and see your shine. They're going to look at that. They're going to honor you. They're going to respect you. See, we don't understand these things as children sometimes. I'm glad I have the ability to tell us tonight. Sometimes we sick of what mama say. You bet not. I'm going to come whoop you myself. We sick of what daddy say. I'm going to come whoop you. Don't do that. I'm going to come to your house. Let your mama tell me I'm coming. Listen, come out shining. Listen, don't be like the foolish. Disrespect parents, dishonoring parents. I'm gonna tell y'all something. See, as a child of Elohim, and I want you to hear this very well, young people. We raised to be adults because we want the freedom. Can I be real with you? The only thing that's gonna set you free is the truth. That's the only thing gonna set you free is the truth. And you know the devil deceives us because we feel like when we get grown, now I got my freedom. No, you ain't free because you got a chain of honor. You in that chain of what your parents have said, and you're going to the workplace with it, and you're going to college with it, right? But listen to me. You're never free. Only when the truth sets you free are you free. As a child, as an adult. So we are racing out the door to be grown and to do whatever we want to do, just to find out I can't do what I want to do. Matter of fact, I'm glad that my parents have taught me something as a child that I understand that now as an adult, See, I learned how to obey God in the world because of what daddy did at home. I learned how to obey at my school because of what mama did at home. See, when I go off to college and now just me and the father, I know how to do what I need to do. Why? Because daddy and mama have taught me. And grandparents and aunties and uncles, and shout out to all of my aunties and uncles. I got no more grandparents, and Elohim rest their soul, and no more parents. So, and I want to almost choke up saying this, but shout out to all my uncles and aunties that continuously hold me down, and hold down the family, all the way up from Aunt Flora and Uncle Val. Much due respect to awesome individuals. Uncle Anthony, I can go on. I can really go on all day with them. So, but as you learning from your ancestors, your parents and your grandparents. See, when you go into society, your aunts and your auntie, because they teach you too, and sometimes even cousins. Shout out to the cousin. What's up, Nika? Keisha, all right? Hey, you learn, right? You learn. And so when you are going out, these things bring you glory, is what he's saying. When you're able to conduct yourself, and I'm going to tell you something. When you're running up on people, and you saying, yes, sir, no, ma'am, and you humbling yourself at school to your coaches and all that, you know what they say? They see a chain. It's like a chain of glory. That gives you worth. That gives you value. That gives you respect. And a lot of these children, why nobody respect me? Because you ain't walking respectable. Okay? See, the way you get respect, you gotta earn respect, even as an adult. Even for me as a pastor, a brother in Christ, I gotta earn respect. It's not given to me just because I'm grown. Matter of fact, the more grown I am, that I don't carry myself with respect, even less respect I'm gonna get. Okay? You a child, they might let you slide. They ain't gonna let me slide. So the older we get, the more mature we're expected to be. And the more mature we are, and the more expected we are to be, the more we meet those expectations. It's like it's honor. You'll get honored. You may be growing up. You're the oldest in the house or something like that. I'm telling you, honor. When your parents can see you doing what you're supposed to be doing. When your community can see you're the one break up the fight, right? And see it just makes you shine. So I just want to tell you, young children, that you teenagers and young children, that listen, don't let this old cruel and ugly world cause you to disrespect your parent. I know how it is. I know how it is. There's so many children out here, they don't have to honor their parent. Listen, first of all, the commandments went forward. This commandment was, they say, it's a commandment with promise. And it says, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long. Y'all remember that? So in other words, if you don't honor your father and your mother, God, listen, he said he's gonna cut your days short. Okay? Now we wonder why we getting up in age and we in our 40s and 50s dealing with health problem all of a sudden. I'm not saying that if you're dealing with health problem, that's the reason. I'm just saying what could be, okay? What could be. And then you think back, right, to how you treated your mom or how you treated your dad. You always wanted to sneak out the window, sneak out the house, and disrespect them when they wasn't around. Had no integrity. Like, we really got to think about this. We establish for ourselves a worse life and a shortened life. Why? Because the commandment says, honor your father and your mother, that your days can be long. And he's not playing about it. He's not playing about it. So we can listen to these foolish kids out here all we want. We're going to pay for it. See these ones out here that don't want to respect anybody. They want to, listen, they want to feed you homosexuality. They want to feed you drugs. They want to feed you alcohol. They want to feed you sex. They want to feed you all these things that's really set to kill you before your time. Listen, put that stuff away, young people. And listen, serve the master the way that you're supposed to. You don't live your life to belong to you. Even at a young age, you're supposed to be a living sacrifice for the master, not for yourself. And I'm gonna tell you something. Don't live your life going to church thinking, well, when I get grown, because we just learned Monday. At what age? or the young people held accountable for their own salvation, responsible for their salvation. As soon as you start knowing things, you knew something when you was 4, 3. You knew something when you were 5 and 6. You knew what to do. You go up there to such and such fundamental school and get the grade, right? You knew. Go up, walk up the hallway with sense. Okay, so if you could be held accountable at school, if you could be held accountable in society, you can be held accountable in heaven's eyes too. You got to understand this. So don't think to yourself, well, when I get grown up, no, you serve him now. Serve him now. And even your Savior say he grew in wisdom and stature. He was respected of man and heaven. See, you got to understand this stuff. He was 12 years old in there with the Jewish official, impressing them with what he knew. And you can do the same. You can do the same. So I just want to encourage our young people tonight. And I want to encourage our parents. We push our kids to be in sports and to be all that they could be. And man, keep pushing them, please. But push this on 'em. This is top priority. Push this on 'em. Have those relationships with those children that they can understand what they represent. Sometimes we don't have a sense of what we represent. You represent the kingdom even at a young age. Y'all hear me, young people? You represent the king, like you represent the Most High. You don't represent what school mascot, hey, all that good. You got pride in that. Pride, oh, I go to this school, we do this, we do that. You run track, you play football, good. But that's not the first thing you represent, but you know how much pride you put in it, right? Put more pride in representing the kingdom. That means don't cuss like them other little kids. Do what your parents say do. They say don't do it. Don't try to smoke anything. Don't try to, right? And I'm gonna tell y'all something. My grandparents told me as a little bitty child, and Elohim rest the souls of Wawa and Pawpaw. But they told me at a young age, they said, son, they said, don't try drugs. Not one time. They said, because if you smoke it one time, you will never be able to stop. I didn't know they were talking about crack. But guess what? Never smoked that. And praise God for that. Okay? And think about it. See, you gotta understand, and people telling you different things that are excellent for you when you go out into this world. Listen, man, I'm gonna tell you something. You will be an old man still following their guidelines and be utterly blessed. You better hear me. So I don't want to, stay there too long, young people. Again, much love to you. Listen, to Uncle Robert, my kid, listen to your daddy. I know what I'm talking about anyway. Y'all better listen. Listen to your daddy. I love y'all, man, for real. But come on, y'all. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. All right, all right. So now we on verse 8. But the question is, why should a child heed the instructions of their parent? Oh, we already did. The next question. How should we respond to being enticed by sinner? Good one. Good one, good one. Verse 10 rather. Listen to me, y'all. Listen. How should we respond to being enticed by sinner? Now, whether you're an adult or whether you're a child, hey, this applies to you. So more if we're a child, that we're more impressionable as children. But sometimes us as adults, it's more subtle for us. We're impressionable, but we don't realize it because we feel like, oh, I'm my own man, I'm my own woman. But the devil, see, he understands. He got to get more tricky with you. It's not going to be so obvious like what he would do to entice a child. He got to get more tricky with us. But nonetheless, the verse says, my son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. In other words, don't consent, don't go. Okay? Don't allow yourself to participate. All right? Verse 11, if they say, come with us, let us lay wait for blood. Let us lurk privately for the innocent without cause. And y'all know what this is. Y'all know what this is. Then YN, huh? Ain't that what they call now? The YNs? Somebody like, what is that? Old folk, that means the young NIGGA, just in case you don't know. The YNs, y'all know Them young, some of them stupid, right? They gonna call me Unc, right? And hope that come with the respect, amen. But I'm gonna say this, say man, listen, y'all know what they doing. They want to steal Hellcats. You know, they want to jack folk for their paycheck, right? Y'all know what they want to knock off the trap, bump them boys off for the money, right? And I know y'all all for like what this man's saying right now. Y'all will get it later. Ask your kids. I might be behind the time myself. Y'all pray for me. But anyway, listen. But on the serious note, y'all, if sinners try to entice you, he said, don't go. He said, if they say, come with us, let us lay wait for blood. In other words, they want to lurk, they want to hunt, and you know, these young folks, they call it jacking, y'all. Y'all didn't know that was in the Bible, did you? It is. Young folk want to take something, or they want to take somebody's life, right? And you don't have to be young for this. You can be enticed for this as an adult. And let me say that. Let me make sure that I catch you holy people too. The word says that if you hate somebody, you're killing them. I know. I know your wig started smoking on that one, didn't it? I know. Yeah. If you hate somebody, you killing them. That's what the word says. If you talk about them, right, you killing their reputation. Listen, so you ain't got to physically kill. So for all you church folk, huh, that want to sit up and tear down somebody's reputation and tear down their name, okay, you the same one. So when somebody entice you, don't consent. Okay? Stop yourself. Don't get engaged with tearing up somebody's name. Don't do that. Listen, let me tell you something. When are we gonna stop the madness? When are we gonna be a display of what real love is? Like real compassion, real concern, real care. Like when are we gonna start doing that with ourselves as a church? Like, let's just put it to the side. Let's just stop. Let's turn over a new leaf. Let's start beginning to not give people what they deserve. Like that's gonna be so much better when we can not talk about it. When we can tell them instead of telling everybody. Like that's gonna be better. Okay. So, but I'm just saying all this because he's talking about let us lay in wait for the blood. Let us lurk privately for the innocent without a cause. And sometimes people don't like people. You don't even have to know why they don't like them. You just like the person that's doing the don't like it. And so now, because you like that person, you automatically don't like the person that they don't like. You don't even know what's going on. So you just consented to something that you were told and counseled by the scriptures not to do. So what you have an ability to do, and I'm going to go even further with it. You have an ability to turn this person around. Girl, why don't you like so and so? Why don't you like her? Well, girl, listen real good to what that person is about to say. Listen real good. Because you're trying to hear that to try to make amends, to try to bring peace and a resolve to the situation. Like it's too many times we call ourselves a Christian, we hear things, we just go on along with it. We throw salt on them too. We throw shovel dirt on them with them. Forget that fool. Shouldn't have done what they done, right? No, no, we gotta turn it around, guys. We gotta turn this around, okay? So what can you do in your listening, right? When your friends, young people, when your friends trying to go do the dirt, how can you be the one? See, we always allow ourselves to be pulled by the devil, but we don't consider that God trying to do some pulling too. So how is it that we always got to bend and pry and break for the people of the world and the people that doing wrong, but they won't even say one ounce of a prayer with you. They won't even try to do anything that God is trying to get you to do. So why do you always have to consent to do wrong and they want to consent with you in the slightest sense? Now, are you just a dummy, a sucker, a fool? Because I know how this go. We treat people like that like they suckers, not knowing we the biggest suckers. Be real to yourself first, but before you be real to you, be real to Elohim. How about that one? Because he's expecting you to be a witness for him. Be a witness for the devil. When somebody pulling you, whether you grown or whether you adolescent, right? If somebody pulling you on the wrong side, they are a witness for the devil himself. So when do we start witnessing for Elohim? Pulling them back on Elohim, on God's side. When do we do that? Or do we just only, because that's the way it's supposed to be, you want to be accepted, right? You don't want to be looked at a certain way. Well, you're not looked at a certain way with them, but heaven is looking at you a certain way. Now, which one you choose? Who you rather be with, them or heaven? Who bad side you would rather be on, man or God? Think about it. God control your daddy job. You talking about where you stay. God control your daddy. Hell, come on, let's just start at the top. He control daddy. Come on, the same one put them Jordan on your feet. He control mama. He control everybody breath. He control your dog. Now your dog sick. Hey, we ain't gonna scare y'all up with God. God don't want to do y'all like that. But I'm just using that for an example. We don't want to get on his bad side. And he's capable of what my mouth can't even speak right now. Okay? Don't get on his bad side. So think about what I'm saying. Think about it. He said, if sinners entice you, consent not. Verse 12 said, let us swallow them up alive as the grave and whole as those that go down into the pit. Verse 13, we shall find all precious substance. So what are we trying to get out of murdering, right? And since that law has been magnified, now we can't talk about them. We can't hate them. We can't defame their name. But what are you getting out of that? That's the question. What is this person telling you that you're going to get out of doing dirt as a child? What is this person guaranteeing you that you're going to get? Come on, because that's going to be your leverage. Okay? Or you might as well swim, little fish, because that's your bait. Okay? And you about to take, come on, you went with your daddy fishing? You went fishing before? You see what happened to the fishes? Go up in the basket? Crisco. Yeah, that's you. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't eat Crisco, by the way. That's poison. Don't eat that. You better get you some olive oil, some grapeseed oil, okay? Some peanut oil. Don't get you no canola oil. That's poison. Vegetable oil, poison. I'm gonna tell you straight up. Don't eat that stuff. Folks, fried food killing us. No, it's what you frying it in that's killing us. Stop doing that. But anyway, and they said all these. Look at check your pack. We gonna have to talk about health another day. But listen. World saints, listen to me. We got to stop allowing ourselves to be enticed. Okay? We have to stop allowing ourselves to be succumbed by the witness of the devil's advocates. And we have to be a witness and an advocate for the Most High and start pulling people away from the wrong. At least, even if I can't convince them not to do what they're doing, at least me taking a stance and not doing it can be, somewhat of a voice to speak to them. Think about what I'm telling you this evening. So let me keep going. Verse 14 says, cast in thy lot among us. Let us all have one purse. Let's put in on it to do the dirt. No, don't put in on it to do the dirt. Don't consent verbally. Don't consent physically. And do not consent even mentally. Reject everything associated with it. And you know what? Save your life. Okay, now, next question. What should be our disposition toward the path of the wicked? This is verse 15. We're at Proverbs 1. My son, walk not thou in the way with them. Refrain thy foot from their path, because their foot runs to evil, and make haste to shed blood. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird. Yeah. And they lay wait for their own blood. They lurk privately for their own lives. So are the ways of everyone that is greedy of gain, which take away the life of the owners thereof. So when you are causing harm and taking the life of someone else, you're really causing yourself harm, and you're really taking away your own life. Now, this may happen in a couple of forms, even before a physical death. You can take away your life, end up in prison. okay, end up in prison. And I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people that was bad on the streets not bad in prison. Okay, a lot of people that's in there, and it's very tragic, very unfortunate. And I know, uh, as our young people don't know what goes on in the prison. You see, and it's kind of glorified. It's kind of glorified. Like we don't care about a jail term. We out here, we on these drugs, and we got these pistols and switches, Glock switch, and we ain't even, and listen, young people, I'm not trying to down you. I'm not trying to, because I already know you, well, y'all, yeah, we did. But you got to understand the devil more desperate with each generation. The devil is more desperate. So what you have to understand is, see, his time is getting shorter. So you see, there's things that you have to experience in the street that I ain't never had to worry about. You see, when I was a child, I could leave out of my mama's house and my daddy's house. I could be gone all day and be anywhere that I wanted to be, outside, and I didn't have a single worry, but a dog getting after me or something. Well, until we moved to Foreign Ridge, them boys was over there, but hello, all my Foreign Ridge comrades. But once you you adapt, you become one of the boys. So, but I'm just saying, like you didn't really have a lot of the pearls, you see, that you have now. Like why? Because the devil is escalating. Like we didn't have to worry about no fentanyl when I was a child. We didn't have to worry about getting shot when I was a child. Did y'all know that? We didn't have to worry about getting shot because we had an altercation with somebody. We fought. And we fought like men or women. Now, I'm not saying that's okay, by the way. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, that's all that was your challenge. But now somebody gonna pull out a gun. Okay? Back when I was a child, when I got a girl phone number, it was actually a girl. Did you know that? It was actually a girl every single time. Every time it was a girl. Whether she named her name, whether she said Keisha or Latasha or right, Latoya, right, or Kamisha, right? She was a girl. Gravin, what's up, Gravin? I just threw my home girl in there. But listen, all of the girls, they was girls. You hear me? They was girls. Now you outside, you hollered at a girl, and she a whole homeboy. You don't even know it. She a boy. You see, why is this? Because the devil turning it up. He turning it up. See, you gotta understand. He coming more desperate. He is more desperate to kill us. You see, when I was a child, I didn't have to worry about getting shot at school. Did you know that? I didn't have to worry about that. I went to school. I was safe every day. I didn't have to worry about getting shot. I didn't have to worry about no mass shooting at my school. Why are these things happening? Because the devil knows his time is short, and the more time tick, the more desperate he get. That's why he's doing what he's doing. So you got to understand, like when you out there now, it's a difference. So I have to come back and be real with you and warn you to tell you, hey man, that life ain't what you want. You need to come away from that life because it's more death out there than it was yesterday, and tomorrow gonna be even more than what it is today. You gotta change your life right now. Listen, and stop playing with this thing. Stop treating the jail sentence like it's a going to Keys Park. Stop treating the jail sentence like that. We ain't even scared of STD. We going back. Listen, stop. Abstinence is the best way. You don't know what kind of stuff gonna get up on you now. Listen, young people, old people. It's time to give your life to Elohim. And I'm gonna tell you something, and it's okay. It's okay. Listen, stop following this devilish narrative of the world. Like you're gonna be missing something. Like you're gonna be having to give up too much. You're not missing anything. You're not missing anything. You may be slowed down from some of the things that you want, but I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something. As a man that came out of the world, it's a lot of stuff that we're afraid to walk away from because we think it's gonna be hard. But once we make up our mind to walk away, guess what? It's easier than what you ever thought it would be. It's way easier than what you ever thought it would be. See, you think, nigga, oh, I ain't gonna have no life. I'm gonna be bored, have to live like grandmama. Listen to me. Don't you do your grandmama like that? Don't you do it, don't you? Oh, we know she butterscotch loaded. Don't do. Hey, okay, we go back up off grandma. All right, I know how you feel. That's all I'm trying. I'm trying to help you to understand that I can relate to you. And she all up in the car. She listen to these "Come On in the Room," right, and all of this old school. You listening and you just can't get with Kirk Franklin. No way. He twerked too much. All up on the thing and he gyrating and his shirt open, his chest out, and the people carry him off the stage and he falling out. You don't understand none of that. And some of y'all young folk know, you like, why is the church lady singing the gospel song and she dressed like, what's that lady name? Her name is a red something, sexy red. Why the church lady singing the gospel song, she dressed like Sexy Red and Cardi B. See, you young, you understand, you know this, right? But the point is, when you have your relationship with Elohim, see, I'm gonna tell you something. He wants to customize that just for you. He wants to customize that just for you. See, that's why a lot of us young people can't get with God because we looking at what the parents are doing and how they're living. They are 25 years older than you. It ain't gonna work. I'm telling you, you cannot try to think to live your daddy's life on no kind of level. Okay, you just look at this old cat, right? He's just old. I just don't know what's wrong with him. He's old and he broke half the time. His knees don't work, right? You looking at him. Okay, so you have a whole different way of doing things, a whole different way of sliding through. You got to understand what I'm saying right now. Listen, your master has customized, tailor-made salvation just for you. Just for you. You see, you don't have to listen to all them songs that your daddy and mama listen to. There are songs out here written by young people related to what you go through just for you. And a lot of time we're out of touch with these things because we are only associated with the worldly music and the worldly movies. I'm gonna tell you something. It is some Christian movies, some gospel movies out here that will get all the way down on your level. It doesn't matter if you're 4, 5, 6, 16, or 26. There's some things out here that relate to you and what you go through as a child in this thing. You see, you know, and time passed. You may not have had these options. You had to sit on the pew, the air out at the church. You tired, you have dead because you keep getting pinched, and you done got pinched so much you won't even feel it no more. Okay? You don't know if you dead or alive. Am I in purgatory or what? You don't even know. Okay? Purgatory is fake, by the way. Don't believe that. Listen, you got things that relate to you now. Okay, so young people, and if you need my assistance, hey, I know where to point you. If you need your daddy, your mom to call me, I know where to point them, and we can get you some of these things. There's Bible look like a comic book, and when I tell you, hell, I love the thing. It's called an action book. This Bible look like a comic book, and it's got all the drawing just like a comic book, but it's the actual Bible. It's sugarcoating that needle. Like, it's very impressive. But I love that for the younger people because it gives them an illustration, a vivid illustration with each page. But let me get back to my lesson, man. I'm all on the tangent. Listen, guys, listen. Understand this. And I'm gonna go back to verse 15. I start enjoying myself providing information. But anyway, 15, my son, walk not thou in the way with them, refrain thy foot from their path. I'm just trying to give you some ways to do it, young people. For their feet run to evil and make haste to shed blood. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird. And they lay wait for their own blood. They lurk privately for their own lives. So are the ways of everyone that is greedy of gain, which taketh away the life of the owners thereof. And again, don't have to be their physical life. You can take away their reputation. You can hate them in your heart. All the same, it's only going to work against your own soul. Now, next question. What does wisdom cry out upon the simple and fools? Okay. Now, actually, what I want to do, I'm just looking at this, and we're about to turn a page that, for sake of time, I don't have enough time to turn this page, and I do apologize to my listeners. But so what I want to do is, I don't know if I'm going to come back on here Friday or I'm going to come back on here next Wednesday. I'm going to pray about that. But either way, I put out a flyer to let us know what the other day that we're coming back. Maybe Friday, or maybe next week, midweek. But I want to stop there because it's about to turn a page that I'm really going to have some time for that. But nonetheless, young people, older people, much love and respect to you. And I pray that this has been a blessing to your soul. Stay blessed. Good night.